Providing directions to Ouachita Baptist University.
In a COVID-19 shortened season, we have come to the regular season finale at Bill Vining Arena. Ouachita men will take on Arkansas Monticello. We're about 6 minutes away from tip in what should be a fantastic matchup between two really good basketball teams. We haven't got to see it on full display this year. We do know that Arkansas Monticello is sitting in first place, tied with Southern Arkansas. This game is extremely important to them. But even more so, perhaps, for Ouachita, they are vying for a chance to host an opening round Great American Conference tournament game for the first time. The conference tournament has always been held in Bartlesville. It's coming up next week, Monday, March 1st through March 7th, with top-seeded teams hosting opening round games. And we've got plenty of time to unpackage all of that and tell you what the conference tournament will be like. But first, this matchup, Ouachita and Monticello meeting up yet again. Initially, the teams were supposed to play each other 4 times through the course of the regular season. And the first initial matchup was scheduled for January the 14th, but it was postponed, and the last matchup went to Monticello. There's those standings, 10-4 for Monticello and Southern Arkansas. Henderson is now locked in, according to what the GAC is telling me, at the number 3 spot at 8-7. Harding and Ouachita are fighting out for that number 4 spot, whereas Arkansas Tech is sitting there in 6th, and they're not out of the mix as well. 1 and 2 will get the host, or will get a bye. 3 and 4 will host 5 and 6, so that's how that will work. Oklahoma Baptist has locked up the top spot in the West. Southern Nazarene at number 2, East Central sitting 3rd, and then Southeastern, Southwestern, Northwestern, 4 through 6, the Great American Conference standings. So, again, January 14th was postponed against Monticello. They were able to play each other on January the 30th. It was 81-79 here in Arkadelphia. That was a really good college basketball game, but it went the way of the Weevils. And then they played on February 13th, and it was a blowout, folks. Monticello won by 20, 88-68. Look at this matchup, 75 points a game for Monticello, 69 points a game for Ouachita. We've said it time and time again. Ouachita wants to grind it out a little bit. They're not going to take just a whole lot of threes. They shoot 43% from the floor. Monticello just a little bit better at 46%. And 2 very good free throw shooting teams. Now, those numbers have dropped off a little bit for Ouachita. When they played each other last, it was the 1 and 2 best free throw shooting teams in the conference. But since then, the pendulum has swung a little bit. 75 is a really good free throw shooting percentage for a college basketball team. And rebounds per game, Ouachita has the advantage there. Assists go to UAM. And as always, you got to limit turnovers to keep possession and have a chance at a win. So there's our stat comparison between Arkansas, Monticello, and Ouachita. The matchup today features 4 and 9 Ouachita Baptist under 10th year head coach Dennis Nutt and Kyle Tolan in his 7th season leading Arkansas Monticello, an 11-4 record, 10-4 in conference play. And we're just about to hear from Dr. Casey Model on PA for the projected starters between Ouachita and Arkansas Monticello. So we'll get you those in just a second. We do want to mention that it is not the last game. It is the last home game, but there is still a road game to be played at Arkansas Tech on Saturday with significance as well. Here's those starters for Arkansas Monticello, the way we expect this to go. DeJuan Jones is wearing number 2, a junior, 5'11 junior from Killeen, Texas. Miles Daniels, a 6'3 senior guard from Gulfport, Mississippi. And number 5, Denzel McDuffie, the 6'4 senior guard/forward position from Jackson, Mississippi. Also, Lemmy Howard, the senior from Mississippi, a 6'8 senior forward. And then the last starter for Monticello, Max Warren, 6'5 junior from Manchester, Georgia. And again, just now introducing the starters for Monticello, so we'll check that out and make sure it's the same. There's Jones, the first one. Yep, also Miles Daniels, a senior. Monticello had an interesting game against SAU. They had a big lead late and let it get past them. They could have had a 2-game lead with 2 to play, but instead they are tied with SAU with 2 to go now. And now the introduction of the starting lineups for your Ouachita Tigers. It is senior night. The 3 seniors were honored at the end of the women's game before the start of the men's game. And actually, I do see one change to the lineup there in order to get the senior Lawrence Nero the start. And so Nero, the 6'2 senior from Hot Springs. Also, Davion Bankston, the 6'8 junior out of Little Rock. Number 23, DJ Kane, a 6'1 junior from Round Rock, Texas. Just mentioned Nero a minute ago. Kendarius Smith, KD Smith, the 6'2", 195-pound senior out of Conway. And then also number 32, Matt Stanley, the 6'8", 220-pound senior from Cabot, Arkansas. All right, so we are just about ready to go. A lot of significance here in this one for both teams. Monticello, a big road win, could carry them to first place in the Eastern Division in the Great American Conference. And a win for Ouachita could help solidify their spot at hosting an opening round game. So much on the line. And we mentioned Arkansas Tech. They're not out of the mix by any means, but they are sitting in 6th place in the East. And so Ouachita gets a win here. They got a decent chance against Tech. Could be sitting pretty. Opening tip won by Ouachita. Controlled there by Stanley. Ouachita in those white home uniforms. Monticello in the black and green uniforms. We're underway. Thanks for being with us. Michael Westbrook here and the entire crew of our Ouachita Sports Digital Network. Opening possession for the Tigers. Kane with 8 to shoot. Needs to hurry now. 5 left. Cutting through is Smith. He's to the rim and in. KD Smith recognizing the shot clock's winding down, had to make something happen, and he's able to get an early 2. Last time I had the chance to talk to Coach Dennis Nutt, it was KD Smith who had a slow first half and then a really strong second half. And when I asked Coach Nutt about that, he said that's kind of more Smith's style to get other players involved, and somewhat indicated he wanted that to change. Well, there's Smith on a steal. One defender there with him. He'll hang a bit. Misses. Stanley, the offensive rebound. His shot blocked. And the block shot by Max Warren. However, a good steal there from KD Smith. Just could not finish it. Kendall Fry, the junior from Los Angeles, California. Look for him in this one. Now DeJuan Jones, a little bit too strong. Offensive board by Howard. And you got to watch out for Lemmy Howard. Howard has started all 16 games for Monticello. He averages double figures. He's one of 4 averaging double figures for Monticello. He's the lowest on that list of 10 a game. Bankston having all sorts of problems and then through the hands of Stanley. Yeah, Bankston bobbled it around as long as he could till finally got a hold of it, and then Stanley couldn't hold on. Monticello's last game of the year will be back in Monticello at the Steelman Fieldhouse against Henderson on Saturday. They are coming off that 69-62 loss to Southern Arkansas that I mentioned a moment ago. That was on February 22nd. And, of course, that was after a couple of games were canceled due to the winter storm that came through. We've had a little bit of everything this year. Stanley all tied up there. He's fouled. And they'll put it on Lemmy Howard. There's Coach Dennis Nutt in his 10th season. Jordan Bailey is assistant coach in his 3rd year. One more coming for Stanley. Matt Stanley, the senior out of Cabot at the line this year, 62%, 22 of 35. And he goes 0 for 2 on that trip, so hopefully Stanley can get that turned around. We talked about both of these teams being good free throw shooting teams. Drive there, and Frey almost traveled, kept that pivot foot down. Shot misses, and K.D. Smith has the rebound. He's on the move. Had a little contact there. Officials letting him play early on. Bankston drives, tries to go around the bigger defender, and he got it to go. Quick step from the junior, Davion Bankston. 4-2 Ouachita advantage, 3 minutes in to the opening half. You're just joining us for the men's game. The women won 77-51 over Monticello, a very important win for the women. They could be hosting an opening round game as well, and there is a chance we could have a doubleheader here for you on Monday. That shot does not go for UAM. That was Kendall Fry, and that's going to be Ouachita basketball. So again, tied with Harding, Ouachita in 4th place. 3rd and 4th place teams will host opening round games while 1 and 2 get a break. K.D. Smith misses short. I'm sure part of the consideration there was the fact that in the last couple of years of the Great American Conference, they have rewarded the top-seeded teams by giving them an extra day at the tournament. That's kind of a reward for what they did in the regular season. Stanley and Nero play pass back and forth, and Nero gets the basket. So for the top 2-seeded teams, they'll play their regular season finale on Saturday. Then they won't have to play again until Wednesday, March 3rd. Good move there. Really nice move from Max Warren to keep the ball up high away from the defender, and nice touch off the glass for the basket. 6-4 Ouachita. Smith in the paint, out to Kane, sets, shoots too much. And a rebound on the backside by Warren. Quickly to Jones. Jones on the move to the rim. He is fouled. I believe they put that on DJ Kane. That'll bring us to the first media timeout. In the early going, Ouachita 6, Monticello 4. Back in just a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens. Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours. In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative.
15:25 to play. We're just underway here in the first half of the final regular season home game for Ouachita. They go on the road Saturday to Arkansas Tech. The way it was set up this year, if a team had played a full slate of games, they would have played each team in the Eastern Division 4 times. This is the third matchup for Ouachita and Arkansas Monticello, as they had their first game way back on January the 14th canceled. So free throws here for DeJuan Jones. That first one does not go. He's got one more coming his way. The foul before the break was indeed on DJ Kane, his first, and first foul on Ouachita. Jones has been at the free throw line a bunch. 85 of 104, and he makes 1 of 2. Put that in perspective, the next highest free throw total on his team as far as total free throw attempts, McDuffie's been at the line 55 times, so Jones is almost doubled up the next closest teammate when it comes to free throw attempts. It's pretty remarkable. Of course, Monticello's been pretty lucky in the fact they've played 16 games now. That'll help with those totals. Backing down the defender is Kyler Haynes, the senior transfer from Arkansas Tech who just came into the game. Now Stanley going up against Fry, the smaller defender, but had it stripped from him. Stanley wanted a foul, no call. Monticello's out in front, and a slam dunk is the result by Lemmy Howard. And that gives Monticello its first lead, 7-6, at the 14:35 mark. So keep an eye on that. How will Ouachita respond in the early going? Wow, Stanley out top. Good job to hold on to that basketball. He needs some help. He's guarded heavily by Haynes, and they will call a foul on Haynes. Good call there. I don't think Monticello wasn't sure about it. First foul on Haynes, second team foul on Monticello. Leon Kalenic is in the game for Ouachita. He's also joined by Medeiros Hobson. And so that gives Bankston and Stanley a break. And Denzel McDuffie on the floor for UAM. Jones and Daniels out there along with Haynes and Fry. Out of bounds off Monticello. Good hustle again by Haynes, who is all over the place. Kane needs to hurry to get it in and threw it off the hands of Kalenic. A little bit rushed there by DJ Kane, who could probably just feel that internal clock ticking, knowing he only had 5 seconds to get it in. So just an unforced error there by Ouachita. Gives it back to Monticello. We're 6 minutes into the first half, 7-6 our score. A little bit fewer fans here for the men's game than what we saw in the women's game. And a three up top, and won't go from Daniels. Offensive board, putback doesn't go. Ouachita will certainly have to limit the offensive rebounding for Monticello if they're going to have a chance in this one. That was a really astounding stat that we saw in the women's game earlier tonight. The number of offensive rebounds that the Ouachita women were able to secure, 20, really helped them. Offensive foul on Leon Kalenic. Call for the charge. We've got subs here. Lawrence Nero goes out. Marvin Williams-Dunn is in. seen a lot from Williams Dunn, and sometimes he has started, but Nero getting the start as a senior tonight, something that Coach Nutt has done throughout his entire career, getting those seniors a start. Hurling off of a screen, here goes Jones, now underneath, works it to Howard, he spins, and that is up and in. No, excuse me, that is a Warren. Max Warren, really good move there. Monticello averaging 75 points a game, holding their opponents to only 67. Ouachita will have to keep track today. Kane looking inside. He's hit hard. Yep. Fell on Denzel McDuffie, his first. I think one official saying that it's on the floor, and that is going to be the case. Third foul on UAM. Monticello shooting 46% per game this season. Also can see Kobe Dunlap in the game, the freshman from Greenbrier. Got a hand check foul on Monticello, their fourth team foul of the first half. And that one will go against Alvarez Powell, just checking into the game a moment ago. Number 23 there for UAM. His first. So DeJuan Jones, kick out, open three, no good. Leon Kalinick, good block out there, and he's able to get the rebound. Kalinick over to Smith. Smith, now Dunlap trying to work it inside to Kalinick, and he just kind of, he had that pass, and he knew right where he was going with it, and the defender did too, took it away. Nearing 12 to play in the first half. Ouachita needs to look for a little more offense now, as they've scored just 6 points in 8 minutes. But they're right there with UAM. A lot of contact underneath. They let them play through it there. Good decision, I think. And Warren doesn't get the shot to fall. Williams done now. And they'll work it back around the three-point perimeter. Kalinick, nice bounce pass to a cutting K.D. Smith who hits. 12-footer from Smith. Nice shot. 9-8 Monticello. So lately for Ouachita, a 82-75, that's a three there for UAM. And it is DeJuan Jones who's able to hit it. An 82-75 loss at Henderson on Monday the 22nd, and that was a good game. It went back and forth quite a bit. Henderson maintained a decent little lead. Ouachita tried to get it close, just never could quite get over the hump there. Good block at that end. Here's Ouachita, and it's Williams Dunn burying a three. Marvin Williams Dunn, the freshman from New Zealand, hits the three. And that makes it a 12-11 game, Monticello. Before that, a really, really big win for Ouachita. They were able to take down Southern Arkansas 73-59 here in Arkadelphia. And that kind of put SAU in the situation they're in now, where they're tied with UAM. And instead of maybe having a one-game lead on them, Smith, he hits a three. He thought there was contact. He'll have to just take three, and that's not a bad thing. He's got 7 already, as K.D. Smith joined the 1,000-point club earlier this year, and more than 1,000 points for his career now. Good spin move, fadeaway shot, no good. McDuffie, rebound Ouachita. Hobson has it. Ouachita's back on top here, 14-12, so remember, I made note at the 14:35 mark when UAM took its first lead, 7-6. Ouachita has not only played with them, but played better than them over the last 5 minutes. Wide open three, and Kobe Dunlap just couldn't quite get it to hit. A rebound for UAM. 8-5 push for Ouachita in the last 5 minutes. A drive from DeJuan Jones after being run off the three-point line. Not there. Give underneath. Spin move. Warren. Nice move. No finish. K.D. Smith the rebound. Kalinic might have been opened in the paint, but it would have been a really dangerous pass. Now a better look to Kalinic, but Smith threw it a little too high, and it goes off the net and out. Now bring us to the media timeout. They blew past that 12-minute mark. We're almost at the 8 mark, but it is the under 12 media at 9:09 to play. 14-12, Ouachita with the lead. Back in a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Baseball for me just kind of was the glue that kept my family together. I feel like I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
It's an ordinary day. Stephanie's driving home from school, like she does every day. Since she's almost home, she takes a quick glance at her phone, like she does every day. She arrives safely, like she does every day. It's another ordinary day. But then, something out of the ordinary happens. Distracted driving kills.
(14-12), Ouachita with the lead on Arkansas Monticello. A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll visit with Athletic Director David Sharp, get his thoughts on the spring season and everything that's going on, because when we talked to him last, it was just about to ramp up, and well, it's in full force now, but of course we had all those weather delays last week, and I am just glad I am not in the scheduling department this year, because I would not want to be doing all of the scheduling that has taken place. But we are very excited to just be back and able to bring you Ouachita basketball and many other sporting events this year on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. Foul there against Ouachita, the third team foul. And Alex Scariolo, who just checked into the game, is going to be called for that foul, his first. He's out there along with Jacob Street, two bench players, getting some action here inside 9 to play in the first. To the baseline, Howard. Strong game so far for Howard. He got to travel up top. They'll call that on Keon Craddock, the sophomore from Garland. Just came into the game. Well, there was a Craddock from Garland that played football in our league as well, I think. I bet you they're related somehow. I think Southeastern maybe. Scariolo, can he float it up over the defender? Yes, but he missed. And the rebound goes to Craddock, and they are speedy the other way. Here's UAM all the way to the rim. We've got a foul before the shot. So McDuffie fouled on the floor. And it's on Williams Dunn, his first. Fourth foul on Ouachita. That was one thing that hurt Ouachita in the game against Henderson. They racked up a lot of fouls. They racked them up quickly. Need to hold here at 4 for a while. You don't want to get into a bonus situation with a team that shoots 75% at the free throw line. A lob inside. Howard over Kalinic, scores, plus the foul. Unfortunately, exactly what we were just talking about. That's going to be another foul, 5 on Ouachita. And it's the second on Leon. And so Stanley's been on the bench for about 4 or 5 minutes now. He might be ready to come back in. And Bailey leaning over, probably telling Coach Nutt right now, hey, that's 2 fouls on Kalinic. Free throw good. Monticello led by Miles Daniels, 15 points a game. Daniels has not scored. McDuffie averages 13. He's also not scored, and that was the case when we saw Monticello here last. It was some other guys that got him. They've been able to hold the real keys in check. Marvin Williams Dunn, a good basket there. He's got 5. And now an open three. Got to watch out here. That's short. And that one from Fry. Hobson to Scariolo. Work it down to the baseline. Not there. And try to go back to him again. And he's going to barrel over his defender and be called for his third foul. Goodness. They couldn't get him out of the game quick enough, so now he's going to have to sit for quite some time, and that'll bring us to another media timeout. Hate having Leon on the bench that long. 7:26 to go till half. 16-15 the score, with Ouachita leading by 1. Back in a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. $7:26 to go in the opening half. Ouachita stayed right here with the top team in the Great American Conference. It's 16-15. The Tigers lead the Weevils by 1. And we'll get you some other scores coming up at halftime. One I want to go ahead and look at right now. It's Arkansas Tech and Southern Arkansas in Magnolia. And the Mule Riders are doing their part to stay at the top. They lead Tech. 6:40 to go in the first there. It's 25-16. So they're actually, think about that, about the same spot in the game we're at, and scoring quite a bit. Up top, 3, Miles Daniels. Well, okay, I guess I will stop talking because I said Ouachita needs to not foul. They picked up 2 quick fouls. They've held Miles Daniels down, then he gets a 3. And UAM back on top. Long 3 there. No good. Williams done. And a rebound for UAM. Here comes Jones, and he'll be picked up by Davion Bankston, who has just checked back into the game. And so you also have Jacob Street out there up top now guarding. A small lineup for sure, and it's also a lineup that does not feature K.D. Smith or Matt Stanley or Lawrence Nero. So none of your 3 seniors are out there at the moment. One-handed shot off line, offensive rebound, and that was almost a perfect defensive possession from Ouachita. Just forgot to clean it up at the end, and so a fresh shot clock to work with for UAM. Jones with Scariolo on him, 6 to shoot. Jones feels like he has a lane, will jump stop, fade away, and a 3 opportunities for UAM, and they capitalize. Well, Lemmy Howard has 9 now, and that one was also as the shot clock was winding down. So about 40, 50 seconds went off the clock right there before Ouachita even got the ball back. Almost a travel up top. Hobson is going to straight away shoot and hit. Madarius Hobson able to connect. Nice basket to stop the momentum of the Weevils. It's 20-18 as we're inside 5.5 to go in the first half. A look inside for Jones, but nothing there. And they are able to get inside quite a bit with Warren and with Howard. And that's Howard again scoring. He's already into double figures with 11. My memory serves me right. That's comparable, I think, to what happened on January the 30th. 2-point loss for Ouachita. Hobson can't hit from the other side of the court this time. Yeah, well, Howard played 26 minutes, had 14 points. Fry, the other big man, had 19, and so it was just a lot of inside action. That one rejected by Bankston. Out to Williams, done. Scariolo tried to leave it back for Hobson and overthrew him. And so all sorts of subs here for Washita. Let's see if we can keep up. I think it's those three I just mentioned a moment ago. Nero, Smith, Stanley, Kane also there, and Bankston will stay on the floor. I think if you're Coach Nutt and Coach Bailey and the Washita fans, you're kind of okay with where you're at right now. You'd rather be leading, of course, but you just had significant portion of your team, contributing members, Smith and all those guys we talked about, sitting on the bench for a pretty good length of time, really. And you're down by 4. Just hope it doesn't get worse. 3 misses, but, Washita just not rebounding. And, again, smaller size out there a minute ago, so you can kind of see how that would happen. But the big guys are in now. And 2 looks that time and nothing from Monticello. So that was a Blakely Cobb 3 that missed. Now Stanley, he's open, takes it, can't hit it. A short possession for Washita. Let's see where the foul is going to be. A hooking foul trying to block out. It's going to be against Cobb, his first, and so the ball will stay with Washita. Chris Johnson, the assistant coach for Monticello, kind of yelling out some instructions. He was an assistant coach for Southwestern for several seasons. Kane tries to get inside. Stanley is down, and he is holding his knee. He's going to be able to get back up, I think. It's 5-on-4, and that's a 3 for Monticello. And, well, now that the ref called time, Stanley's got to come out of the game, and we'll have the media timeout. I think Stanley will have to come out. I don't know. We'll see. Yikes. 3:50 to go, and the lead is ballooned a bit for Monticello. Washita trails. We're back in a moment. This is the Washita Sports Digital Network.
I've heard people say Ouachita.
Wichita.
Achita.
Ouachita.
Is it pronounced Ouachita?
Searching for Washita Baptist University.
Back in Texas, everybody pronounces it Wichita, but really, it's Washita.
Washita. Washita.
How would you pronounce it?
Washita.
Washita.
It's Washita Baptist University. Get it right.
It's Washita, people. It's Washita. Washita.
Still waiting to see what's going to happen with Matt Stanley here. He was able to get back up and get down the court, but did not look good. Of course, the history there, Matt Stanley tearing his ACL last year and not getting that full season. The officials are over at the monitor and asking for everybody to just hold up a second. So see if we can get some information as to what they're looking at over there. They're telling the teams to stay in their huddles. Just added the courtside monitor recently, which is nice. In recent years, they've used my laptop off of the video feed, and I don't have to deal with that anymore. But now I don't know. Not in the action way up here, but it's still a great view for basketball. Matthew Branch has done a good job all year long on the Washita Sports Digital Network. He's down there with the officials, talking over a couple of things with them. And we'll get a look at the replay. We can probably figure it out as well. So Smith was coming down with a rebound. And they're looking at this possession, it looks like, maybe. Oh, I just lost my monitor during all of that, so. Pretty significant delay here while the referees sort this out. Monticello 24, Washita 18, 3:50 to go, first half action. We'll just have it here for a minute while get everything squared away. Numbers to look at for you. We can go over that for just a second. 10 of 30 from the floor for Monticello. Ouachita's 8 of 19. And UAM 2 of 11 from three-point range. Ouachita 2 of 7. Ouachita's been to the free throw line just 2 times. All right, the officials have walked away from the courtside monitor. They are over to talk with Coach Tolan and Coach Johnson about the call. The other official didn't spend too much time with Coach Nutt, I don't think, went to the scores table, and I don't know if Casey Modal has been given any explanation. There was nothing to mention there, I guess. So trying to check to see if it was a 2 or a 3. Thank you, Chris Babb, for that information. Well, that one is a 2, and we'll take those 2. Matt Stanley able to get his first points of the contest. Hopefully that fuels his fire a little bit and can get him going, can get Ouachita going, get some of these seniors going. And now we've got a whistle away from the basketball. Oh, goodness gracious. If that's on Stanley. Yep. Okay, so Stanley called for the foul, and you've already got Kalinick on the bench with 3. That's only 1 on Stanley, but he was having some issues with his leg earlier, and now a foul. So you want to keep him out there. You need him. Need him to not get another foul in the last 3:27. Free throws for Cobb. And it's up and in. Well, it was quite the delay, but I'm glad we were able to have the action for him to show them what they needed to see. One more coming for Cobb. And Cobb able to hit both. He has made 6 of 7 at the free throw line this season. He's going to come out of the game after those makes to some high fives from teammates. Little reset here. We've got 3:27 to play, opening half. 17 fouls for Ouachita, 5 for Arkansas Monticello. Scores 26-20, and Ouachita has Nero, Bankston, Smith, Kane, and Stanley on the floor. They work with just Stanley on the inside and 4 guards around the perimeter. Smith over to Kane. He'll set and shoot. A little too hard, and the rebound is controlled by Denzel McDuffie. Monticello is very fast, and this has been a recurring theme of theirs the last several seasons. They want to get the ball up and down the court pretty quick. Now, they don't always take the quickest shot, but they're going to get the ball down the court and look for something. Bankston has his second block of the game, and that one comes on a 3-point attempt from Miles Daniels. Great job there by Bankston, and he'll give Ouachita the basketball, in fact. Huge play there by Davion Bankston. He's shown he can jump. Got those long arms. Listed 6'8". Now we're going to have some action up top, and I think they'll call a foul on UAM, yeah. On Max Warren, his first, and he was tangled up there with Stanley. So shot clock at 20. And Kane will get it to Smith. Again, Ouachita finishes the regular season at Tech. They had an 81-59 win on Friday, February the 12th. Yeah, they had to play on a Friday because the bad weather that was coming in, and so that was an interesting situation to play a Friday game. That pass goes too high and out of bounds. Turnover for Monticello, and Ouachita gets a break there, and we'll get the basketball back. I had to miss that game. I was taking part with my high school students in Texarkana, the Student Television Network convention. That was a lot of fun for our group. Here's Stanley, one-handed floater. Nope. And a rebound pulled down by Max Warren. Jones looking inside. Smith almost had a steal. They move it around fast. Jones is open. He'll hit. DeJuan Jones connects on a 3. He now has 7. And Jones came into this game as the third leading scorer for Monticello at 13.5 a game. So here we are closing out the first half, and he's got half of his totals. I'm almost glad they didn't pass the ball to Kane there. His foot was almost out of bounds when he came up to get that ball. So Kane's got it now. Good position. Kane looking for some help underneath to Stanley. Will pump once, goes up and in, and Warren didn't want to foul there. He was beat. Stanley got an easy basket. I say easy. It looks easy when you're 6'8", 220, but he made it look easy. Now Warren's going to go back against Stanley. That was a little more difficult. He still got it to go. Good defense there from Stanley. But the basket does go. This is just a 30-second timeout right before halftime. We'll go ahead and just stay right here with 49.4 to play. Look up and go, hey, it's 31-22. This was a 2-3-point game just a little while ago. Monticello started shooting the ball a little bit better. And UAM's up to 36% for the game. Washita's still at 41%, but it's all coming down to the multiple chances. 33 shot attempts for UAM, only 24 for Washita. And so those second chance points and offensive rebounds are beginning to add up. 6 offensive rebounds for Monticello, only 2 for Washita. Rebounding overall is pretty even. Monticello 19, 17 for Washita. And if you're the Tigers, we could be in for a long second half because I would think Washita is going to start to be a little bit more aggressive, try to get to the rim, get some fouls. They have not made a free throw in the first half. They've had only 2 attempts. Smith from the outside. Ball is loose and controlled by Arkansas Monticello. Lemmy Howard has it. And now Monticello will take a 30-second timeout. We'll just go ahead and stay one more time. They want to try to set up one more play. 34.5 on the clock, 26 on the shot clock. So, they'll try to dribble this down best they can. Talking about Smith a minute ago, he actually got to that 1,000-point mark against Henderson recently. He went to 1,014 for his career. That's 15th all-time, and he could move up a little bit. Another 35 points would tie him for 12th in program history. And so we're talking about that Henderson game on the 22nd just a couple of nights ago. Numbers for Smith so far, he's got 7. So let's go ahead and say 28. 28 more, and he could move to 12th in program history. Here's UAM, maybe their final time to have the basketball on offense here in this first half with Jones. $18 seconds left. Awfully quiet right here inside Bill Vining Arena. Jones out to, that was Fry, and he just missed that really bad. 6 seconds left. Smith, he's got 4. Got to hurry. It's Kane. He'll have to launch at the buzzer. No. And that would have been huge if that would have gone down, but it doesn't. And so it is 31-22 at halftime. Again, we anticipate visiting with David Sharp, athletic director of Washita Baptist, and we don't know exactly when that will happen. Maybe we'll take a quick break. So we're going to give you the scores from other games in the conference. We'll give you the stats, and we'll also talk to Coach Sharp. All of that's coming up in just a moment. This is the Washita Sports Digital Network.
Getting directions to Washita Baptist University.
First, they said
Welcome back to Bill Vining Arena. We're visiting with Coach David Sharp, the athletic director at Ouachita, where here at the break, Ouachita is going to have to make a little comeback in the second half. Well, Coach Sharp, last time you and I talked, it was just about to really ramp up. We were about to have all of the action happening at once, and then we get the bad weather that slowed us down again. But it is nice to get senior night in for basketball. So let's start there, and just how important is that for our seniors to get this day?
Oh, I think it's very important. Those seniors have given a lot of hours and a lot of time and a lot of effort through the years that they've been here. So it's good to see them recognized. And of course, we've got the men with a half left, and I fully expect they'll make a comeback here. I've seen us do it too many times. We'll go down there and make some adjustments and come out, and you got another 20 minutes, but it was good to see the women get their third win in a row, and happy for Eden and Maya, the two seniors there, and how they've represented us. Real happy for those young ladies.
Absolutely. We had a fun post-game interview with Coach Dallimore and the two great ladies.
Coach Dallamore's done a fantastic job with them, and of course Coach Nutt has too with his team and all of our teams. But, Michael, you mentioned the weather last week. We didn't do much, but we've made up for it this week because we started with a doubleheader over in Henderson Monday night with basketball, and then Tuesday we played volleyball, and we had a soccer game, and then yesterday we had two softball games, and that we're glad to see Coach Grimes and his team get a couple of wins, and our swim teams in Cleveland, Mississippi, and their conference championship started yesterday. So baseball and softball are headed to Oklahoma to play this weekend. We've got doubleheader basketball Saturday in Russellville. So it's a very, very busy week. And Harding men's soccer plays Harding Saturday, and our women's team was too, but Harding got COVIDed out, so women won't play. So, but it's just great to see them being able to compete, as I mentioned before.
Absolutely. I will say, David, I think one thing we're going to be disappointed in, I really hate we didn't get the McGee-Hawkins Invitational. And, just for the name. I would have liked to have for us to, but that's going to be around, and we'll honor them.
We're going to continue to do that. Of course, we honored Ronnie Hawkins, who was a good friend of Coach Mike McGee's, and he was an umpire in the GAC. I umpired slow pitch softball back in the 80s and 90s, a long time ago, and I actually umpired with Ronnie Hawkins. He was very animated, just a great guy, but a really good human being. And of course, we miss him, and then of course Mike McGee, and the longtime coach here. And so that tournament's not going away, and we'll definitely have that next year, and look forward to recognizing them.
I want to do this more often. I learned fun facts about you, David, about your umpiring days and everything else. So. Well, you mentioned Coach Nutt and the halftime adjustments. If there's one thing the Ouachita men typically do, the second half is a different story. So
I can't tell you how many times the last 10 years I've watched coming out at halftime, and you can tell exactly what they did. I mean, his experience and expertise, and Coach Dallimore has it too. But Coach Nutt, he's so observant. He's played the game. He played at the highest level. He comes out, he goes down there, he sees what they're doing. They do what he says, and we score. We get a little run going. And that's what I expect we'll see as we get ready for the second half.
And one more thing for you, David. Some upgrades have happened here. Of course, football, we got the new scoreboard, but here we've got the new scores table. We're working on some things here. It looks great down there.
Yeah, we got a new scores table. We've got a group of alumni in basketball that have gotten together. They're calling themselves the Round Ballers, and we've been able to raise enough funds with them. We ordered this new scores table, and that antiquated scoreboard that you see up there that we don't know if it's an 8 or a 6 or a 0 or whatever. We actually have a new scoreboard on campus. It's here, but it's going to take about 3 days to install, and we don't want to disrupt practice or games or anything. So we'll get that done at the end of the season, and that'll give Bill Vining Arena another look. And with the new goals, the score tables, the new chairs over here, really is a fresh approach for us.
Yep. And David, we'll cross our fingers here because we're looking at a situation we might be hosting a doubleheader in the conference tournament.
That'd be great. The great thing is they're all going to get to the tournament, but it'd be great if Monday night if we were playing 5:30 and 7:30.
Absolutely, yeah.
I really would. And I fully expect that Coach Nutt to get his team ready, get them adjusted, get out here, and they're going to play hard. You can count on that. It's got to get the ball to fall a little bit and see if we can get it done.
All right, David Sharp, Athletic Director. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, we're going to take one more break, and when we come back, again, we'll get you some of those scores and stats, everything else still to come here at halftime, where Ouachita trails Monticello 31-22. So stay with us. We'll be right back. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
When we talk about communications and media, we're talking about a wide variety of fields because communications really relates to anybody, anywhere. And we tackle everything from interpersonal communication, group communication, how to make presentations, to studying mass communications and media. And our students are really interested in going out and being media producers. And one of the first things you have to do is to understand the media before you can adequately and efficiently communicate messages yourself through your job, whatever you choose to do. When you're here your very first semester, you can become involved in the Ouachita Signal, the Ouachitonian Yearbook, the Online Signal, the Photo Lab, visual media production, sports media production. There's a lot of different areas to get involved with. These students publish our printed publications, and they also have a chance for continuing education by attending such events like the Arkansas College Media Convention and the College Media Association Convention in New York City. You don't have to wait in line till your junior or senior year to do hands-on learning. You'll get that experience your very first semester, even if you have no previous experience. We have graduates who are working with television stations, either as an anchor, as a producer, as a videographer. We have students in advertising and public relations firms where they're creating strategic plans for organizations and businesses. Our students learn in the classroom and outside of the classroom through their practical experience, but we also enjoy fellowshipping and becoming close as a family. Faculty often have students over to their house for Christmas parties or spring parties or to celebrate graduations. Our students form friendships that will last a lifetime. Over the past 3 decades, some of the most important people in my life and the life of my husband, since we teach together, are students and faculty and staff that we've come in contact with at Ouachita. We're excited about what we have to offer in the communications department at Ouachita, and we want you here to share that with us.
Welcome back to Bill Vining Arena. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from the first half, and kind of gave you some of those during that really long delay we had, which was close to halftime. And 12 of 34 for Monticello, 35%. They go 3 of 13 from three-point range, 23%. 4 or 5 at the free throw line, that's 80%. They had 20 rebounds, 6 of them coming on the offensive glass. And for Ouachita, 10 of 26, good for 38.5%. 2 of 10 from three-point range, 0 of 2 at the free throw line, 19 total rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive glass. Lead has changed hands 5 times. Monticello's had the lead about 12 minutes. Ouachita the lead about 6 minutes. And so it's been somewhat back and forth, but that last 4 minutes or so was really owned by UAM to kind of get that 9-point cushion, which is their largest lead of the game. Ouachita had a 4-point lead when it was way back 6-2 at the 16-minute mark. 6 assists for Monticello, 4 for Ouachita. And a number that, you got to talk about, 10 turnovers for Ouachita. There's Smith on cut to the basket, which was a big basket early on. And then you have Bankston going up strong. Good look at some of our replays from the first half. And then fast break points, just 3-2. Not a whole lot of that as both teams are kind of playing the game a little bit slow. Talked about Monticello. They've been able to get the ball inside quite a bit. And there was a good block there by Ouachita, and it was Scariolo. In fact, Bankston's got a couple of blocks. That's one area that's been pretty good to see from Ouachita. They've had their hands up. They're blocking shots, and I think that has certainly helped them as well. So individually, look at some of those numbers. Ouachita is led by K.D. Smith, who has 7 points in 15 minutes of play. 4 from Stanley, 5 from Williams-Dunn, and 2 from Nero, 2 from Bankston, and 2 from Hobson. Numbers for Monticello, Lemmy Howard has 11, 6 from Warren, 7 from Jones, and 2 from Fry, 3 from Daniels. Warren, I think, mentioned, is 6, and 2 from Cobb, both those coming at the free throw line. That's some of the individual numbers. Their leading rebounder is Howard with McDuffie with 8 and Howard with 5. Ouachita's leading rebounder is Hobson with 4, and then you've got Nero and Kalinick that both have 3 apiece. Now, stats showing just 1 block for Bankston, 1 for Dunlap. Dunlap was the one that had that block a little bit earlier, but I thought maybe Bankston had 2. We'll see if maybe they'll change that. Fry leads the way with 2 steals, and Ouachita has a couple of players with 1 steal apiece. So we're going to take one more break here, and we'll get you some scores just before the start of the second half. So stay with us. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours. In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Baseball for me just kind of...
Welcome back to Bill Vining Arena. Special thanks to David Sharp, the athletic director of Ouachita, for coming on with us at halftime. And I got to learn that he was an umpire back in the day, so I didn't know that about him. But we did mention the upgrades here to Bill Vining Arena, the new scorers table. And so that's a really cool thing to see, the digital scoreboard, and looking forward to that new overhead hanging scoreboard as well when that comes in. And so thank you to our alumni and friends who have helped make that. And yikes, speaking of scoreboard, it just went out on us. So hopefully they're working on that. We don't have some sort of delay. But I've got scores to tell you about, so I can do that right now. They're into the second half in Magnolia, where the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders lead the Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys 38-31. I don't know what the situation was tonight in Durant. I'm interested to see what they did there, but the women actually played after the men, and so the men played earlier. They're done. It was Northwestern beating Southeastern 75-72, and 11 minutes to go in the second half. Southern Nazarene with a big lead on Southwestern, 46-28, and East Central and Oklahoma Baptist tonight, 15 minutes to go in the second half. Oklahoma Baptist 42, East Central 31. Across the street, Henderson leads Harding 43-33. And then, of course, here it's 31-22. Scoreboard's back on. That's all the scores. And so we are just about ready to go. And when you look back at those standings, a Ouachita win and a Harding loss would put Ouachita in the 4 spot with 1 game to go, 1 game ahead of Harding. And that could bode well to being able to host a tournament game. Now, Harding, after their game against Henderson tonight, they go to Southern Arkansas, so that is certainly not going to be easy for them at all. So a win here means a lot. A loss and a Harding loss, and then, comes down to Saturday, and we just got to see what happens. Monticello starts with the basketball. They start with a 3 from number 3, but Daniels cannot hit. And so we talked a lot about the second half adjustments that Ouachita usually makes. They are a second half team. There's no doubt about that. And let's see how they come out of the halftime break this time. It's going to be Hobson. He's got 2. It's a good start. Nice little pump fake, good little stutter dribble, got to the rim, and a strong finish. Smith, Bankston, Kane, Hobson, Williams, Dunn are the 5 on the floor. That's the way they probably would have started if it wasn't senior night. Now, Stanley might have been in there as well. That basket goes up and in. It was Max Warren getting that basket. So Warren has 8. Smith got close, couldn't finish. And the rebound goes to DeJuan Jones. Jones open in the corner, taken away. Kane able to steal the ball from Fry as he was just about to hit Jones, who was open deep in the corner. Now Kane steps back, looks underneath, gets it back from Smith, fading away. DJ Kane, front of the rim, but the miss controlled by Warren of UAM. So just kind of playing this out here. Monticello, if they win, SAU wins, well, then they're still tied at the top with 1 game to go. If Henderson wins, then there's Hobson on the break, stripped from him. That would mean Ouachita lost, and that would mean Harding lost, so they would stay tied there for that 4-5. It's not quite the same having 12 teams involved looking for 8 conference tournament spots, but the last 6 years probably, I mean, it's come down to the last game, last week, last game of the regular season. For 6 out of those 8 spots usually are up for grabs in the men's bracket. It's always that close. Again, you don't have quite that feel. You're not really paying attention too much to that Western bracket, but there are still some spots up for grabs on the men's side. In fact, the only one set in stone is Henderson at 3, even if they win tonight. Ball back inbounds to Ouachita. They put that foul on Craddock, who just came into the game, his first, and Ouachita gives it up. Into the corner, there's Craddock. Hobson is able to find him, Bankston. Monticello works it back to Jones. Jones driving in, kicks it out. 3 on its way from Daniels. Too much. And good block out from Bankston. So good that he was backpedaling, almost blocking out his own teammates. There was nobody around. He cleared some space. Kane fakes the pass, shoots, and a rebound by Howard. If you are taking a look at the other side of the bracket for just a second, the 1 spot Oklahoma Baptist is locked in. Southern Nazarene and East Central are 1 game apart from each other. Actually, 1 game in the win column apart from each other. They have the same number of losses, so that's going to matter in the win percentage as they factor that in. Southeastern just tied with Southwestern, so that's pretty interesting there. I think one thing you're going to find here is the strange year of Northwestern 0-10 in conference play. If they lose on Saturday, they'll be 0-11, and they're in the conference tournament. But I say why not this year? And again, that begins Monday, March 1st, and runs all the way through Sunday the 7th. So full week of action, and you'll have the men's and women's games going on throughout the entire week. So free throw here for Warren. Takes a long time. I'm going to count the next one. And then it's a quick shot up. Oh, you've heard Rex Nelson count down in a big game. I'm about to count up here. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. So much so that Smith had time to face plant on the court. That was worth counting for. What, did they go ahead and count the shot? He got back? Okay, yeah. All right, so Chris Babb's on that there, and Called for the fake free throw. There was so much time off there, and he didn't actually shoot. How about that? Oh, that's fun. 10-point Monticello advantage here, and now Smith tries to change that. Just missed it short. We've got a player down for Washington. It's going to be a foul against UAM, but Warren is right there to help Bankston back up in good sportsmanship. So Warren gets his second foul. Yeah, it wasn't a 10-second violation. I was only at 5 when Smith landed in the lane, but just got him for basically a fake free throw, baiting Smith into the lane there. Can't do that. Although I can't say I've seen it happen ever, but there you go. Oh, let's see something new, I guess. Nearing that first media timeout of the second half, Washita's not been able to cut into the lead or deficit just yet. In fact, they were down 9 at halftime, now down 10. Jones on the drive, jump stop, kick out, and Miles Daniels finally hits again because that's his third three-point attempt of the second half, and it's his second three-point make of the game. You just cannot let him get going or this thing could really get out of hand. 13-point Monticello advantage now. I doubt they did any scoreboard watching at halftime, but they probably know SAU could have command over Tech tonight. Blocking foul. Shot goes for Smith. He'll head to the line for an and one. KD Smith has 9. And that will bring us to the media timeout with 15:23 to go in the second half. It's Monticello 37, Washita 26. Back in a moment. This is the Washita Sports Digital Network.
Ordinary day. Stephanie's driving home from school, like she does every day. Since she's almost home, she takes a quick glance at her phone, like she does every day. She arrives safely, like she does every day. It's another ordinary day. But then, something out of the ordinary happens. Distracted driving kills.
In the number 15:23 to play, second half action. 37-26 is our score. Monticello has the lead on Washita. All right, let's go through that conference tournament bracket. And some ways, folks, I've stayed away from it because my routine has been the exact same for the last decade. I show up in Bartlesville and I call 14 basketball games for the GAC Sports Network, and I know where I'm at. I sit down courtside for about 45 hours in a span of 4 days, and I don't even have to think. But it's so different this year. So the men's first round games, Monday, March 1st, 7:30 start times, and it'll be the 5 going to the 4 in the East, and the 6 going to the 3 in the East, and then the same for the West. And so you'll have 4 games there, first round, March 1st. And then the men's quarterfinals will be Wednesday, March 3rd. The winner of 4-5 goes to number 1 on the West. That's the winner of 4-5 in the East. So you're going to have some crossover there for the first time all year. Winner of 4-5 East against number 1 West. And then the winner of 3-6 East against number 2 West, and then vice versa for the others. Friday, March 5th, the quarterfinal games, and then Sunday, March 7th, you have the championship game. So semifinal of the 1 winner against semifinal 2 winner. So hopefully that's clear as mud for everybody, and hopefully Washita will have a lot of basketball next week, and that's all that the Washita fans will care about, knowing they got a lot of games. Bankston misses the jumper, and ball was knocked into the air but controlled by Jones. Now Jones gives to Daniels. Craddock had it poked free. Good job by Smith, and then a big collision there between Bankston and UAM's Daniels. Ball out of bounds, and it'll go to Washita. Turnover on UAM. By the way, the bracket, the same for the women. March 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th days of the game. So you hope if you're, radio announcer, somebody, that you get a situation where you can call both of your team's games in the same location. Up top, wide open, that's McDuffie. He has been awfully quiet in this one, misses there. Offensive rebound, however. Stanley and Howard underneath. Here's Lemmy Howard sitting on 11 points. And Howard wants to take him. Circles all the way to the other side. Good defense by Stanley, and he'll run the floor the other way as Smith gets it across the timeline. Dribbled off the foot of Smith, actually, there, right into the hands of Hobson. So, no damage done. Washita needs to string some points together here. Smith, off a screen, steps through, fades away, and an air ball. Hobson comes up with it. Could have an easy two here, and he does. Madarius Hobson, steal and a basket, making it 37-29. Yeah, talking about the conference tournament, I've actually been going there since 2010, back to when the Oklahoma schools were in the Lone Star Conference. And I think this is going to be pretty neat the way it's going to work out this year, getting some extra home games in a year where not everybody got that many home games. And just a different feel. And in some ways, it levels the playing field in a sense for some of the Arkansas schools, not having to travel so far. Of course, everybody gets there early enough and has plenty of time. And I think we've only had weather-related travel to Bartlesville once in a decade. 7 minutes gone by second half, 8-point game. It'll stay that way as Stanley secures the rebound from the Jones miss. So a basket a minute ago, and you put a couple together here. We got a game again. From the wing, the three won't go off of the Stanley pass, the miss by Nero. But an offensive board, Hobson, nope. Stanley still battling in there. How about that? 3 looks at the rim for Washita, and hopefully they get some points out of it at the free throw line here. Lemmy Howard is called for his second personal foul. Stanley's first one is good. Stanley with 5 points. Coach Sharp was mentioning softball and baseball are both on the road this weekend, as softball is playing at Oklahoma Baptist in Shawnee. And the baseball team actually there as well in Shawnee. So next weekend could be quite interesting as the teams will be back here taking on Harding. The baseball team will be. And that one is up and in for Denzel McDuffie. We talked about his quiet day so far. He has scored for the first time. So then that one goes up and in for Bankston. How about that? Softball will be on the road next week at Harding, by the way. Clock rolling inside 12 to play now. It's a 6-point game. It was 11 not that long ago. Kobe Dunlap back in the game. He'll guard up top, and he gets beat a little bit there. Shot is up and in for Alvarez Powell. So Dunlap went over to kind of help on a double, and that left Powell open to extend the lead back out to 9. Bankston, Nero, Hobson out on the wing. And you've got Smith on the bench right now. Stanley, 12-footer, good. Matt Stanley able to hit. That's big. If he can stretch the defense out just a little bit, make them second guess a couple of things. And a foul will be called on Stanley as Howard had him underneath there, and it's going to bring us to a media timeout. 10:57 to play in the second half. Closest Washita's been in a while. They trail Monticello by 7. This is the Washita Sports Digital Network.
I've heard people say Ouachita,
Wichita. Ouachita.
Is it pronounced Oakita?
Searching for Washita Baptist University.
Back in Texas, everybody pronounces it Wichita, but really, it's Washita.
Washita.
How would you pronounce it?
Washita.
Washita.
It's Washita Baptist University. Get it right.
It's Washita, people. It's Washita.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
10:57 to play, second half, 42-35. Monticello has the lead, but Washita starting to get back into this thing now. The largest lead of the game for Monticello was 13. That was when it was 37-24. Washita's had just a 4-point lead all the way back to 4 minutes into the game when it was 6-2. Wait and see who's going to inbound here. Jones, he was standing in the field of play there. Now he steps out. So it's Monticello basketball. And we got 14 fouls on UAM. We got 3 for Washita, so everybody's in pretty good shape there. Alvarez, who hit a 3 a little bit earlier, tried his luck again and couldn't get it that time. Wisely, Bankston does not shoot. Instead, sends it over to Dunlap, and Dunlap, an air ball. Who's going to get the basketball? UAM will. Like Washita was trying to really persuade the ref there to get the basketball. Not the case. Tigers just 3 of 5 at the free throw line, something that we mentioned at halftime when they were only 0 of 2, and they're 2 of 14 from three-point range. So get a few more free throws, opportunities, get a couple of threes to go down, turn this thing around. Game's moving at a pretty good pace with Monticello because they really run the clock down. Shot clock's at 2 when that prayer is launched, and a rebound by Nero. Oh, Nero just kind of gave it away. Just too much of a fancy dribble. Oh, and so does Monticello. They do the same. There's 3-on-1, and the old weave drill right there, but player couldn't hold on to it and ends up out of bounds. Both teams turn it over, and Washita will have it back. Max Warren, the big man from Manchester, Georgia, is back in the game. Stanley gives to Bankston. Can Bankston get to the rim there? No. And then Stanley will be called for an over-the-back foul. Yep. That is 2 on 3. That's 3 on Stanley. Remember, Leon Kalenic has been on the bench since, about the 7-minute mark of the first half? So Stanley now has 3. Kalenic has 3. Gonna need a big man present somewhere. Inside, and a traveling violation called on Max Warren. So he had a double team down there with him. And Coach Tolan could be heard all the way up here. He said, no way there. He did not think that was the case at all. Keep an eye on some of those other scores for you. Again, Arkansas Tech Southern Arkansas is a big one. Got a foul. Stanley falling down. And their official telling Coach Tolan to just stop. Didn't want to hear it from him there. Max Warren picks up his fourth foul. And that's one reason Coach Tolan went after the official a little bit. One of his key players has just picked up his 4th foul. SAU 51, Arkansas Tech 45. If Tech loses, they drop to 4-10. And then even if Ouachita loses, they'd be 4-9, and Ouachita would still have them by half a game in the loss column. Of course, they play each other Saturday, so that could flip. After the makes for Stanley, he's got 9. It's been a good game from Stanley, even though he's got 3 fouls now. Oh, he steps over. They're going to call a charge there for sure. Wow, Stanley was in perfect position, and he took a solid hit from Denzel McDuffie. Sometimes you see those, and you go, oh, well, you know, he probably flopped a little bit. He probably sold it. Nope, I saw that one right here. Stanley took a pretty big blow. This has got to be the point where Ouachita gets something going, and there you go. Kobe Dunlap missed earlier, kept firing. A big 3 makes it a 3-point game. And Ouachita's got a little bit of life, a little bit of extra in their step right now here. Let's see what they do on defense. Wide open. It's McDuffie. Good. Right back. So Denzel McDuffie, the senior out of Jackson, trying to lead his team to the Eastern Division Championship, the GAC. Right inside to the rim, Lawrence Nero. Intensity's picked up a little bit on both sides. Both sides moving a little bit quicker, shooting a little bit faster. And this is when you get some gamesmanship, get a little back and forth action, makes it fun. Jones settles it back down. 3 fouls for Stanley. Got to be careful against Howard. Good defense. Good shot. Off the glass and in for Howard. 14 for Lemmy Howard. Nero driving out to Bankston. Faked out his defender underneath the Hobson. Cutting reverse layup is good. What a play there all the way around. Good ball movement. Good finish at the rim. 47-43 Monticello, nearing 7 to play. What's Monticello going to do here? They're down to 6 to shoot all the way to the rim, but missed was Miles Daniels. And it's 4-on-4 for a minute here. Everybody catches up now, 5-on-5. Daniels had to work so hard to get to the rim that he just missed the layup. Long, loose ball. Nero comes away with it and gives to Bankston. Plenty of time here, but it's going to be Dunlap shooting, and he went too strong on that one. And Dunlap, a freshman out there, just, you know, he hit that one a minute ago, so he wanted to go back and hit another one, but now Miles Daniels does hit a 3, and that calls for a timeout from Coach Dennis Nutt. And we will take it as well. 6:18 to play, 7-point UAM advantage. Back in a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Baseball for me just kind of was the glue that kept my family together. I feel like I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
It's an
I've heard people say, oh, a cheetah. Oh.
6:18 to play, 50-43 our score. Monticello has the lead on Ouachita. And Monticello will come back to the floor with Fry, Jones, Daniels, Howard, and McDuffie. Interesting that UAM now has the uniforms that has their player's name on the back of them, on the back of the jersey. Ouachita has Bankston, Williams Dunn, Matt Stanley, Hobson, and KD Smith returns. Crucial stretch of basketball here. And I would imagine it will be in the hands of KD Smith quite a bit. This is where he has a tendency to take over. 15-footer fading away. Smith missed. Rebound for UAM. Smith will need some help tonight, that's for sure, because they will be keying in on him. And UAM is going to be content to take a little time. Howard, offensive foul called. Howard called for the hook. #17 foul, and now we have the media timeout with 5:44 to go. So we will step away for just a moment. 50-43 is our score. Ouachita basketball continues a moment on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
I've heard people say Ouachita.
Wichita.
Achita.
Ouachita.
Is it pronounced Oakita?
Searching for Ouachita Baptist University.
Back in Texas, everybody pronounces it Wichita, but really, it's Ouachita.
Washita. Washita.
How would you pronounce it?
Washita.
Washita.
It's Ouachita Baptist University. Get it right.
It's Ouachita, people. It's Ouachita.
Washita.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
5:44 to go. Ouachita basketball. Monticello's going to full court press. Ouachita needs to be ready for that. And UAM going to try to force some turnovers out of the deal in the backcourt, but Tigers can protect the basketball. They'll be fine. They trail by 7, needing points. KD Smith, missing a moment ago, goes back to the rim this time, and he can't finish there. Ball was tipped by Hobson. We said earlier on, Ouachita's done a good job of getting their hands on the basketball, but it is still UAM that comes away with it. So when you're talking about not a whole lot of possessions in the last 5 minutes of the game, if Monticello runs the clock down the way they do, Stanley will get the miss. And we have 5 to play. 17 fouls for UAM. That could factor in. Ouachita could get some points back at the line. A look underneath intended for Stanley. He is able to pick it up and score. Good job of Stanley to stay with that one. He's into double figures with 11. And we got a 5-point game. 19 of 51 for UAM. And Ouachita is 18 of 51. So almost identical there. In fact, with that make for Stanley, they're now 19 of 52. So the shooting percentage nearly the same. There's just been, we got a foul on Stanley at the free throw line as that shot clock was going down to 0. It is going to put Howard at the free throw line for 2, and more dangerously, it's 4 fouls on Matt Stanley. So Howard goes to the line. Got 2 shots coming his way. The first one goes in. Howard entered tonight's action 19 of 32 from the free throw line, 59%. And he goes 1 of 2, so about that average there. It's 14 points for Lemmy Howard. Where do you go here? You need a big basket. Just something with some momentum. That might do it. It's Smith. He had to go up high for that one. Had to get the ball up high in the air, and Smith now with 11 points. We got a 4-point game. Stopping a basket. We got a one-possession contest. Inside 4 to play. Ouachita's in a zone defense now, the 2-3. Smith and Bankston up top. Then Hobson comes over from the baseline to help. That can create some open threes. Can also create some mismatches on a rebound, but Bankston comes in to clear the glass. Wisely holds on to it for a moment. Now Stanley back out. Ouachita doesn't need to hurry. Looking for a good look. It's going to be Stanley spinning in. This is the layup, offensive board. Put back no from Bankston. 2 pretty good looks there, but instead the other way, it's a slam dunk basket from Lemmy Howard. Cleans up the miss. My goodness, what a turn of events. Here at a 4-point game, looking to make it a 2-point contest. Instead, Ouachita misses. Talk about that big basket with momentum. A dunk makes it a 6-point game. Now Stanley backs down Howard long enough to get the foul. And it'll bring us to the under 4 media timeout with Leon Kalenic set to come into the game in just a moment. 2:42 to go. 6-point game. Monticello 53, Ouachita 47. Back in a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
UEmergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. UEmergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. UEmergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your UEmergency app now.
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
Well, this contest is certainly more reminiscent to the last time they played each other here at Bill Vining Arena, not when they played each other in Monticello. That one, it was UAM 88-68 on Saturday the 13th. But when they were back here, it was 81-79. Monticello had the win, and some late buckets made it that 2-point game. Probably just needed 2 more possessions. Ouachita might have been able to win that one. Stanley gets the first free throw. We were sent to the media timeout on Lemmy Howard's 4th foul. And Max Warren also has 4 fouls for UAM. Stanley, it goes 2 of 2 at the line. So Stanley's going to go out, and Leon Kalenic is going to come in. Pressure-packed moment here. Full court press from Ouachita. Well, yeah, somewhat. Yeah, they are now still pressuring. And just able to get it across. Get 10 seconds. That took them about 8. I don't know. Monticello, I don't know if they want to run the clock all the way down, but they are up 4. Bankston gets pushed backwards. And I think if he'd fallen down, he might have gotten a call. I'm not sure. But Warren just used his strength, pushed Bankston backwards with his body, and got the easy 2. 6-point game. Bankston goes right back. Blocking foul and 1. How about that battle back and forth? Max Warren gets 2 on his end, but he's just fouled out on a blocking foul as Bankston gets 2 back with a chance for 1 more. My goodness. So Bankston, 24 of 38 at the free throw line this season. Junior out of Little Rock. Can't finish the three-point play, but it is a 4-point game, less than 2 to play. It's senior night here again tonight, in case you joined us late. And we've got K.D. Smith, the only senior on the floor for Ouachita right now, including a freshman, Williams Dunn, Leon Kalinick, the sophomore, Bankston is a junior, shot doesn't go, and you've also got Hobson, a junior. So not only that, but juniors without much experience at Ouachita. Bankston can't finish there. That was just too much. He was hoping for a foul to bail him out there a little bit, but just kind of lost his control on the way up. We could head under 1 minute to play before this possession is over. And it is a 4-point game. Ouachita needs a steal. They do not need to allow a second attempt, that's for sure. A look underneath, traveling violation. That is absolutely right. Howard traveled, stepping to the basket. And we've got a timeout. 1:03 to play. We'll go ahead and take this one real quick, 30-second break. Ouachita trails by 4. Back in a moment. It's the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Well, Ouachita got the stop they needed. It came on a traveling violation from Howard on what looked like probably could have been an easy 2 points if he had taken one big power dribble, but he didn't, so he travels. And Howard is actually having a pretty long conversation with the official about that, so I don't know. Sometimes you get that jump stop, that step, sometimes you don't. Here we go, 1 minute to play. Ouachita trails by 4. Huge possession here. Not over if you don't score, but you need something. Marvin Williams Dunn all the way in the paint, is going to keep it, and then he's fouled, and so that's the 10th team foul on Monticello, which will send him to the line for 2 shots. Keep the clock with a decent amount of time on it, 47.6. And Dunn has had very few opportunities at the line this year. He's 5 of 8 this season, now 5 of 9. Well, you need one. Get one here. Make it a 3-point game. Get a stop. Coach Nutt may take a timeout. I don't know. He's over there by the scorer's table. See what happens on this free throw. It goes in, and he will. We'll keep it here, though. So Williams Dunn does get 1 of 2, and that's not a wasted possession by any means. Ouachita kind of preserved some time on the clock, and they did get a point. So 55-52 Monticello as we reset here. 10 team fouls for the Boll Weevils, only 5 for Ouachita. So the clock is, in a way, your enemy here, but if you get in a situation where you get beat or something and you need to foul before they get a shot up, you could do it. It would, of course, reset the shot clock, but you don't want to give them anything easy. You'd rather have that foul, so they could do that. 47.6 to play, and it's 55-52. Now, the one difference about this game compared to the one on January 30th, that was 81-79. We have not seen that kind of offense here tonight, that's for sure. We're going to have a game in the 50s. So it's Monticello basketball. Ouachita will full court press. They've got Bankston, Hobson, Kalinick, Smith, and Williams Dunn on the floor. Inbounds will come from Fry easily right away to Jones, who's now trapped. And they are still trying to get the ball across half court. They do, and then a Monticello timeout. So it takes 7 seconds there. 30-second timeout will stay, and 39.7 to play. And that kind of breaks it down a little bit more to where, let's say they don't take the shot clock all the way down. Let's say they take a shot with 3 or 4 on the shot clock maybe. Well, then you get a rebound. You're looking at 19, 20 seconds, somewhere in that range. They do get it all the way down. You got 15, 16 seconds. Just have to get the stop. Again, you could foul if you had to. Probably not what they want to do, of course. And so Ouachita will be out of the huddle pretty quickly. Takes a little bit longer for that offense to draw up their play. This game's really important for both teams. I know we've talked about it already. SAU is just about a minute away from a victory over Arkansas Tech, 75-60. And get you a Henderson score as well, because we're watching to see what Harding is going to do, actually. And that one is not even close. 80-55 Henderson, so Harding is going to lose. A Ouachita win could mean a lot to get ahead of them. Ball inbounded in the backcourt, and we are down to 15 on the shot clock. 30 seconds to play. Smith is guarding out top against Jones. Jones gets around into the corner. Is Monticello really looking for a 3 here? Let's see. There it is. No good. Kalinick has the rebound. 15 seconds left. Ouachita trails by 3. Do they go for the tie? They might have to. We're down to 10. Here's Hobson. Down to 7. Got to do something. To Bankston with 3. Bankston will give it up to Hobson. He shoots at the buzzer. No good. A 16-second defensive stand there from Monticello to end the game. And Ouachita will drop it by 3. Holy cow. Boy, they had time. I wouldn't say they really had a good look. That was pretty good defense. Just had time and then couldn't do anything with it. But, man alive. That one stings a little bit. So, Monticello goes to 11-4. Southern Arkansas goes to 11-4. Still tied at top as SAU does end up winning. And so Henderson with the win will go to 9-7, but they are slotted in the 3 spot. Harding and Ouachita both will drop to 4-9, and Tech loses and goes to 4-10. So I don't know all the with the not playing the same number of games, Ouachita has to have a win or they would drop to 6th. So they will have to win Saturday against Arkansas Tech. Look for a Harding loss, and they could be 4th. And then I don't quite know the tiebreaker situation with Harding. I could look at that real quick. It'll go head-to-head first. Last time they played, it was canceled. They did beat Harding February 6th. And they beat Harding on January 23rd, and they lost the first time, so they actually do hold the tiebreaker there 2-1. So both teams win on Saturday, then Ouachita would actually be the 4 seed. Ouachita loses, then they're dropping down to 6, so that gets pretty interesting. We'll take a break. We'll see if we're going to have Coach Nutt. Not sure about that, and I think we probably will. We'll take a break. We'll get you some stats and come back and wrap this up in just a moment. This is the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. Michael Westbrook here with you from Bill Vining Arena. We're getting Coach Dennis Nutt ready for his post-game interview. And, Coach, the score was a little bit lower, but this is very reminiscent to when you played Monticello at home here last time. Just a back-and-forth battle, and at 16 seconds there at the end, just didn't really get a good look.
No, that was pretty telling on our night. I thought, in general, we just not as clean as we need to be on offensive end. Give them credit. They're really good defensively, but at home and this stage of the year, you want to play a little bit cleaner basketball than that.
Well, you had Kalinick gets in foul trouble, then Stanley kind of gets in foul trouble there at the end. You didn't have your bigs in. I noticed it seemed like there were a couple of possessions that really turned the game when they got some offensive rebounds.
Yeah, especially first half. They wore us out first half on the offensive glass. The first half effort wasn't very good for us. We have to play better, especially at home. And
yeah.
And again, offensively, we're just not clean enough.
Well, I do want to give you a moment, Coach, to talk about your seniors because lost in all this a little bit was the fact that it was senior night tonight, and you got three big ones, and of course that starts with K.D. Smith and then Lawrence Nero and Matt Stanley, and I know that those are three guys you're going to miss, and of course the year's not over, but it is their senior night. Talk about them a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've Matt and Katie came at the same time. They've been here 4 years and spent a lot of time with us and done some great things, and there's still some basketball left for those guys, and just proud of what they've done for us, and they represented well. Lorenz came 2 years ago and done a lot of good things for us as well. So, good guys, and I think they represent the university well. And,
yep.
Those guys possibly can get another year, so we'll kind of see how that plays out.
Yeah. Coach, Saturday is really important now all of a sudden because Harding loses tonight, so you're still right there with them. Tech loses tonight. But you lose to Tech, you drop to 6. You win, and you got a chance to be at 4. So how do you bounce back just a couple of 48 hours later and less than that, really, and take on Tech?
Well, you forget all about this one.
Yeah,
and we got to move forward. I told the guys in there a lot of basketball left. We kind of control some things if we take care of business. So Tech they'll be good at home. We played well against them here, but it'll be a different team. We'll see on Saturday.
Well, Coach, it's a unique situation for us this year in the fact that normally senior night comes, and I know that's the end of my run with you guys, but we may be here next week with you, and I hope that's the case.
Well, we hope so, Mike. Good to have you back.
All right, thanks, Coach Nutt.
Okay,
Thank
Mike.
you for the time as
Thank
always. Let's go over those final numbers, and we will wrap up our broadcast here on the Ouachita Sports Network. So for Arkansas Monticello, they go 21 of 57 from the floor, 7 of 26 from three-point range, 6 of 9 at the free throw line, 36 total rebounds, 8 of those on the offensive glass. They had 10 assists, 13 turnovers, 7 steals. That's a big number tonight, I think. If you look at that, that really sticks out. Lemmy Howard in 28 minutes of action. He had 16 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double. Warren goes for 11 and 4. Jones had 7 points and 2 rebounds. And in fact, Ouachita held some of the big names down, but some other guys really stepped up. Daniels had 9, Fry with 2, 5 for McDuffie, 3 for Powell, and 2 for Blakely Cobb. Now for Ouachita, 21 of 58 from the floor, 3 of 17 from three-point range. That's another spot where, you hit 1 or 2 more of those, it's a whole different game. 7 of 12 at the free throw line, and again, only 2 attempts in the first half. So they go 7 of 10 at the free throw line in the second half, which was pretty strong. 38 total rebounds, and they had 8 assists, 13 turnovers. Only 3 turnovers in the second half. I think I have that right, so that's pretty good. 5 steals as well for Ouachita. Individually for the Tigers, Matt Stanley led the way with 13 points in 22 minutes of play on senior night for one of the seniors there. And K.D. Smith, the other senior, along with Lawrence Nero, Smith had 12 in 29 minutes of action. 6 for Davion Bankston and 7 rebounds. 4 for Lawrence Nero. He had 6 boards. Hobson had 8 points and 8 boards. 6 for Williams Dunn and 3 for Kobe Dunlap. And that rounds out the Ouachita scoring. So let's give you some final scores here real quick. From earlier today, Southeastern played earlier, and they lost to Northwestern by the score of 75-72. It is a final. Southern Arkansas over Arkansas Tech, 76-63. Henderson just about to beat Harding. They're up by 20, 82-62 with 37 seconds to go. And then it looked like Oklahoma Baptist has defeated East Central by the score of 78-69. And Southern Nazarene and Southwestern, the final score, and it's Southern Nazarene 62-48. All right, well, that's going to do it for our Thursday night broadcast. The women win earlier tonight by the score of 77-51 for their third consecutive victory, and the men fall to Monticello in a close one, 55-52. The team goes on the road Saturday. We'll wait and see what happens for Monday for the Great American Conference Tournament. We hope to be here with you on Monday night for one, if not two games. For everybody a part of the Ouachita Sports Digital Network, I am Michael Westbrook. So long for now, everybody.